Hey everybody, so today's video is going to be my Q&A video where I'm going to be answering all of you guys' questions that you're asking me for my writing Q&A. And yes, so we're going to do that. I notice right now that my lips look really red. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the coloring of this camera. I mean, I'm using my phone, so I don't know why my lips look so red. I'm not wearing lipstick, I swear. But yes, I tried to film this video. I only got like a few questions in, and then my camera didn't want to fuck with me anymore because it only records like a half hour. I need a new SD card. So that didn't work, and I tried to do a live show, and my webcam was like, "Hi, I'm broken." So, things were just happening. It was annoying, but now I'm filming with my phone, and hopefully this works out. I have a lot of questions to answer. I wanted to get to all of them hopefully in one video. I'm going to try to do like a light speed thing, like just get through these really quickly, but give you guys quality. So yeah, so let's go ahead and start this. So the first question is from 19 Loca 89, and she asks, what helps you get unstuck from writer's block? For me, I just let it run its course. I don't mess with it. I don't try to force anything. I watch Netflix, I watch movies, I listen to music, I read, and I just sort of just let it go. I just let it run its course, and then when I'm ready to write, I'm ready to write. Because I think if you keep pushing at it, you get even more irritated, and then the writer's block lasts longer. That's just to me, but I just let it run its course. Then Pickle Hearts Books asks, who reads your early drafts and gives you feedback? How many drafts do you usually write of one of the book? Do you outline your books? Yes, I do outline my books. I started outlining my books a few years ago because before that I wasn't, and I found that outlining really helps me a lot. So yeah, I outline my books because before things were just all over the place. I couldn't remember certain things, so outlining really does help. Early drafts. I have a friend who reads my early drafts. She's very critical, and I trust her, and she's the only one I let read my early drafts. It, other than the editors, so yeah, but she's the only one I let read the shit when it's not that good. But yeah, so I have her, and then how many drafts do I usually write of one book? I don't know how to explain this. This is where I told you guys that I'm kind of different, because I know that there's a lot of writers out there who write one draft and then they don't even consider it a book, and then they go and they write another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then they have like 10 drafts. I don't do that. I write one single draft, and then I revise, cut, chop, add, fix, take out, and that's all I do. I do not write the book over and over and over again, because that just doesn't work for me. I've tried that, and it actually makes me hate my books. So I found what works for me is just revising that one draft, and it works for me. So I'm just gonna keep doing it. Yes, and then the next question is from Tonebound. Hey Richard, here's my question. How are you able to balance your writing with your vlogging and personal responsibilities? Any tips or tricks? Well, right now I am in the middle of looking for another job, so I have a lot of free time. So I've been balancing everything pretty well. In my city right now, it is incredibly difficult to find a job, and I'm not the type of person who is able to sort of work like at fast food restaurants and stuff like that, because I have anxiety, really bad anxiety, and I can't do that. So it's really difficult for me to find jobs. But right now, my only job is being an author, and for right now, it's working for me. But I've been balancing everything pretty well. The videos, I push out videos. None of it really interferes with each other as of now. So never know, I might get a job where things get crazy, but for now I balance everything pretty well. Tips or tricks? I would say just to set out a certain time to write. Just because you have a job or just because you go to school doesn't mean you don't have time to write. That's something that kind of irritates me a little bit when people say like, oh, I'm going to school right now, I don't have time to read, I don't have time to write. You do. You just don't feel like doing it, or you're not pushing yourself enough to make some time, because there's time. But But I don't know, I guess it's just me. I don't know, that might be my opinion, but I think if you make time, there's time. Um, and then Alicia asks, do you get to design your own book covers or does that job fall onto someone else? Um, I've never had anybody else do a book cover for me. I've always done my own book covers because I'm very stubborn and I like things to look how I want them to look. And that's one of the great things about self-publishing is that you can do your own book covers if you want to. But I do not put shitty book covers out. My book covers will always be like to the T perfect. I have to consider them perfect. Because there's a lot of self-published book covers that could be amazing, but a lot of them just look terrible, and I would love to help these people out. Because I do design book covers for other self-published authors as well, but I do design my own book covers because that's just how I am. I wouldn't mind hiring somebody for like a book cover, but that is like too expensive right now, so I'm not about that. I'm good doing my own thing. And it's funny because I never went to school for graphic design or anything like that, but I'm really, really good at doing book covers. So I don't know. I think that's interesting. Elizabeth Photog asks, how did you develop your first idea? How do you develop your first idea into a book? Like, do you sit on it for a long time or do you take classes? I've never taken classes for writing. I might in the future, I don't know, but for right now, it's just not something I care about. But developing your first idea, I outline. But one thing that happens is like it's kind of like a movie that plays in my head. I'm very like that. Because before writing, I really wanted to become a movie director, and so movies are a big part for me. So whenever I'm writing a book, I feel like I'm writing a movie, and I write it like it could be a movie. So, and I've been told that my books feel that way, and that's exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. So, that's a good thing. But I outline. The only time I've ever outlined a book and not worked on it right away was the one that I'm currently working on right now. I outlined it in November and then I started working on it in February. So that was a while, but everything else I outlined a little bit and then I get started. Michaela's Bookish Thoughts asked, are there any challenges that come along with being a self-published author? Are there any advantages? The advantages are having all the freedom to do whatever you want, whether you want to write whatever type of book you want, book covers, everything, release dates. You can take however long you want on a book. Deadlines are not really a big deal unless you put deadlines on yourself, which is what I do. But yeah, those are like the advantages of having all that freedom and getting to keep a lot of the royalties from your work. The challenges are not being respected enough, to be honest. I feel like there's a lot of disrespect towards self-published authors. Like, we're not the same as regular published authors, and in fact, we work harder. We do everything ourselves, so we deserve a lot more respect than we get. We actually get shoved underneath the rug, like we're just not anybody. We're somebody, okay? And it's something that really irritates me. A lot of booktubers don't read self-published books, and they have their reasons, which a lot of them I think are ignorant and kind of stupid, and I don't watch them. So, but yeah, I just the prejudice against self-published books is irritating to me, and it really needs to calm down because it's hard work. It's hard work, and we deserve the respect for it, to be honest. But yeah, it's just a lack of respect, people caring, and not really, seeing it as hard work. That's really what bugs me a lot. The next question is from Lords. Where do you get your ideas for your books? What inspires you to write a story? It could be from anything. Like, right here I have a flyer from the El Paso Museum of Archaeology, which I want to go to, and that could inspire me. Anything. A toy, anything could inspire me. Especially pictures inspire me more. When I'm on Instagram, I go through my feed and I'll look through the pictures with the little question mark, the little magnifying glass. I'll click that and it'll just have a bunch of pictures of things that I've liked or things that I liked, and then it suggests things to me. A lot of times I find inspiration there, and a lot of times there's just a bunch of crap there, like people I really don't like show up in that feed, and I'm just like, I don't follow them, I've never liked any of their pictures, why they're in my feed. But for the most part, um, that's a lot where I find a lot of inspiration from. Instagram is weird. Um, yes, and then Leslie Evans asks, how about how long does it usually take you to complete a book? It depends. It really does. It could be 3 months, 6 months to a year. It depends on the book, to be honest with you. Um, Vetter Palmer asks, what comes first, character setting, the general feel of the story, the plot? To me, as I said, it's like a movie playing out in my head. So like, for me, it's like a scene pops up in my head. Um, like for the one I'm writing, I pictured this cat sitting in a window, you know, and it has a spell on it, and there's some crazy things happening. There's this girl who sort of gets mixed up with it, and it's just that's what was going through my head, and I was just like, yes. So then I went to go write. But yeah, it's like a little one, like a little scene of a movie pops up in my head. I'm just like, yes, that's what I got to do. If that makes any sense. Yes. And then Marceline West asked, can you list some books you've written? I love to read. Read one of them. I will link them all below, the ones that I've written, because I don't want to list all of them. I don't want this video to be too long. But my first book was A Girl's Guide to Falling in Love with a Zombie, which was a fun book to write. I had a lot of fun writing that one. Loving Them Books asked, hey Grace, weirdest inspiration for a book? Weirdest inspiration for a book, serial killers. I've been writing one for a long time, about this brother and sister who the sister's a serial killer, the brother just helps her out. But yeah, serial killers was inspiration for that. I guess I consider that a little bit weird, but I'm weird, so it's okay. Next question is from Deja Spencer. What advice would you give for someone who is in the process of writing their first book? Okay, don't think about anything. Don't think about whether anybody's gonna like it. Don't think about whether or not your book is crappy or not, whether everyone's gonna hate it. Don't think about publishing. Don't think about anything else other than writing your book. Because trust me, once you start thinking of all that other crap, it just boggles everything down and things just don't go well. So, and also don't let anybody read your first book. Don't. Trust me, it will mess with you. It will. So keep everything to yourself for your first book. Okay, it's yours. It's a baby, and you have to nurture it. You have to keep it to yourself. Just like when dogs have puppies and they don't let anybody touch their puppies. Don't let anybody touch your shit. Don't let anybody look at it. It's yours. It's your first book. You gotta do it. And you got to, you got to work on it and craft it yourself, and not let anything mess with it, or anything stop you, or anything make you challenge, like thinking about other things, whether or not it's gonna be good and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just babbling on. Yeah, so don't think about anything, just write. Next question is from Cody from Pimp Book Review. Do you give yourself a certain amount of words that you need to write a day? I do not, but I do have a deadline for the book that I'm writing now, and I've been trying to get myself to write a lot more of it every day, like 500 words or 1,000. But yeah. But no, I don't usually have a certain amount of words to get to. Harriet Rose asks, do you plot out your books in detail, or do you keep it vague and just write without thinking much about where the plot is going? So looking forward to this video. Thank you, Harriet. As I said, I outline, and that helps me a lot. Yeah, I do keep some things like out of the outline, because I don't want it all to just feel like it's already done. I want things to come organically. But yeah, I outline. Jolie Odell asked, is it bad that when I write I skip around in my story? No. Whatever works for you, works for you. That's all I gotta say. Whatever works for you, works for you. Don't try to change anything. If it works for you, keep it. Keep it going. Do not think about anything else. Keep going. Don't let that affect you. If it works, it works. Tara Talian asks, how do you motivate yourself to write? I'm always scared to continue projects because I'm scared I haven't lived enough and what I write won't be authentic. Don't worry about any of that. Just write your shit. Do not worry about anything. Just write your book. Motivating myself, I kind of have to treat myself like a kid. I gotta discipline myself. I have to say, Richard, your ass has this deadline. You need to get on that laptop and you need to write. And then I procrastinate. So yeah, but most of the time I can get some writing done. But I'm a huge procrastinator. Um, Soul Mean Sun asks, do you have trouble writing down the ideas in your mind into words? Sometimes it happens to me, and I'm just wondering, um, if so, how do you overcome it? Have trouble writing down the ideas in your mind into words. It depends. Like, if I'm thinking of like a certain like scene in a book, and I'm writing it down, sometimes it won't work itself out. But if you keep writing it and you keep working on it, things will eventually get better. Um, then Shay Geeks Out asks, where do you typically find your inspiration for your characters? I don't really find inspiration for characters. I like they pop up in my head, but then they're not inspired by anything. Um, I usually develop them later on, um, but I never really find inspiration for characters. It just appear in my head like little people. Um, JG asks, what is your biggest inspiration when writing? That I want everybody to read my book. What keeps me going is that people love my work, want to read my work, are excited about reading my books, and that's what keeps me like inspired to write. That's really huge to me that people love my stuff. Um, Adam Rawl asks, what is the title of your book? Also, what is the synopsis of of my new book? I can't tell you. I cannot tell you the title, and I cannot tell you the synopsis yet, because I'm gonna announce that soon. But I can say that it is middle grade. It has to do with cats. There's magic. There's an orphan. There's thieves, and it's dark, really dark. So that's what I can give you. The next question is from A Life Within Words. Have you ever sent a manuscript to an agent, or have you always wanted to self-publish your books? In the beginning, I didn't know about self-publishing, so I always was trying to figure out how to get books to agents and stuff like that. But once I found self-publishing, I was just like, this is for me. This is 100% for me. And since then, I haven't ever had anything traditionally published. I would like to in the future, but for now, self-publishing works for me. Aisha asked, have you learned anything new about yourself since becoming an author? I've learned that I have to be fully dedicated to something in order for me to write all of it, because I'm the type of person who will write something and I'll get about 10,000 words in and then I'll just drop it, and then I won't pick it up for another year or something. I'm just terrible at that. I am, but I've learned that I have to be dedicated, otherwise things won't work out. And I probably just didn't notice that about myself before, but yeah, I have to, otherwise shit won't get done. Aisha Monet asks, how often do you write? I try to write every day, but sometimes it doesn't work, and that's okay. Like, if I think a lot of people like to say in order to be a writer or an author, you have to write every day. I don't think that's true, because whatever works for anyone works for anyone. So I would say if you don't feel like writing, don't write. I mean, that's just how I am. I don't feel like you have to write every single day. But that's just my opinion. Tina Girl 83 asks, how do you keep the middle section interesting? I'm good with beginnings and I know how I want things to end, but I always get stuck in the middle and end up having a lag. That's exactly a problem that I have, so I can't really give you that much advice, because I'm still working on that. As I said, I'll get into the middle of something and then I just drop it. But all I can tell you is just to keep going. Like, with me, sometimes was what I do is that if I'm stopping somewhere, either I need to fix something or just leave that section right there and then start on something else. Not something else like another book, but like start in another scene and then just keep going. And then and then you can go back and you can work on that part that you got stuck at. Then the book bat asked, I have trouble getting stories from my mind to page. What would you recommend? I do. That could maybe help me get things going. I want to be able to turn my ideas into an actual book someday. I would say everything that's in there, open up a document on your laptop and just get it all out. Get it all out, because once you do that, then you can sort of figure everything out. So everything that's in there, get it all out. Get it all out. I'm telling you, sit your butt down in your laptop, open a document, and just write everything in your head down. Doesn't have to be a book. Just write everything down, like little tidbits that you have in your head. And then, once it's all out there, you can start forming everything, and then you can open another document and you can start writing a book. Um, but yeah, so get everything out, get it all out, and put it on a document. Oops, I messed up my little lighting thing. I have my little wire lights on my laptop because I feel like they're helping me here. Yeah, I guess so. I don't want to edit this video, so this is just going to be fully unedited. Yes, okay, so and then Gaia, is that how you say your name? I'm sorry. Rodriguez asks, do you believe that anything is really is fiction? I'm published as well, supernatural nonfiction. I would love to write some fiction, but I just can never wrap my head around the thought of writing fiction. It's a total mind fuck to me. Thanks for being awesome again. Thank you. Do I believe that everything's really fiction? I believe that certain things that people have gone through sort of find their way into people's work. Certainly I've done that before, where I have something that I've gone through and somehow it finds its way into my book. So I really don't believe that everything is complete fiction, but you know, yeah, that's just me. Then J Garcia, sorry, asks, do you want to eventually leave the self-publishing realm and go into traditional form of publishing a book where it's more lucrative? I would like to traditionally publish one day, but that's not really like a huge deal to me right now. I'm comfortable where I'm at with self-publishing, but one day, yeah, I wouldn't want to leave it. I will always self-publish as long as it's available to me. But I would like to traditionally publish a book. Next question is from Aaron Ho. Sorry, I can't say your last name. What is your opinion on ghostwriters? Okay, my opinion on ghostwriters for celebrities is you need to write your own fucking shit. That's my thing with it. I got a little bit irritated with the whole Zoella thing on YouTube when everybody found out she had a ghostwriter, because she had always really talked about writing, and it kind of struck me as like, what the fuck, when I found out she had a ghostwriter, because I was like, you'd think that she would have did that on her own, but I don't know, I guess not. And then people were defending her, saying that it was her first book, give her a break. But really, write your own crap. Like, I love Zoella, okay? This is just me, my opinion. You gotta write your own shit. Like, using ghostwriters, that's just fucking lazy to me. And I don't like it. And if I ever find that out about a YouTuber using a ghostwriter, I won't read their shit. I just don't, because I'm just not about that. You put the work in. That's my thing. Yes, I'm really passionate about that. Kittyeth asks, how are you so fabulous AF? Because I is. I'm just kidding. Okay. That wasn't a writing question, but I answered it. Next question is from Val T. When you start writing, do you already have an outline of the story? Yeah, I do. I outline everything. Then Kalutz Venti. I'm sorry, I can't say your name. Do you ever write something that you like but you worry that other people won't? How do you build confidence in your writing? I've learned this, and I struggle with it sometimes. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I struggle sometimes with writing something and thinking about whether or not it will sell, whether or not people will pick it up, because that's just naturally something. But you have to learn how to figure out a way to put that to the side. It will never completely go away, because that's just how it is. But you have to learn how to put that aside and just write what you love, because if you don't, you'll never get anything done, because it will just always be in the back of your head, just like right there, scratching at the back, just like, haha, no one's gonna like your shit. Or you're doubting yourself. It's not a good idea. So I would say just to put that to the side and just write what you love. Don't worry about what's in and what's popular. I've done that before. When the whole vampire thing was going on, I tried to write a vampire novel, and it just didn't work for me. Even though I love vampires, it didn't work. And I ended up, instead of writing a vampire novel, which was a huge trend, I ended up writing a zombie book that was called A Girl's Guide to Falling in Love with a Zombie, and it was completely different. There was nothing like that out on in the market, and it did really really well, and I was really excited about that. I thought that went really well. That was amazing. I When I first put it out, I was really scared, but it worked. It worked, and it was awesome. Um, okay. What is your Mafi D asks? What is your writing process like? When do you decide to write? Do you have organized time? Um, as I said, sometimes I just put an amount of time out of the day to writing. Usually at night, like around 12 midnight, I start getting the juices flowing, and then I start to write. It's I find it really difficult for me to write during the day. I don't know why. I need to work on that, but I don't know why. Usually at night it works for me better. I don't get it, but that's just what works for me. Um, I just go ahead and write. I don't need to have coffee or anything like that. There's nothing special that I need except for maybe listening to music before I write. I don't listen to music while I write because it distracts the hell out of me. Um, but before I write, I'll listen to music like movie scores and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, that's how it is. I don't have like things that I got to do because I think once you start doing stuff like that, if you have a routine that crazy, then you can actually never really get writing done. Sometimes I don't know. It's just how I feel. Um, Read to me at midnight asks, do you have anything specific you do to get you in the mood or mindset for writing? Now, as I said, listening to music, um, and like rain. Did I mention that rain sounds, wind? I'm weird. Um, that and then I start writing. I don't. There's nothing else I really have to do. Um, yes, and the next question is from Pedro. Asks, what's your favorite story that you've written or are planning on writing? The one that I'm currently writing. It's like I feel like it's the best thing that I've ever written, and I'm so in love with it. It's amazing to me. As you guys know, I've been a lover of middle grade for years since I was fucking a teenager. I've been in love with middle grade. It's not a thing that I'm jumping on the train. I've been accused of that, of being, jumping on a trend of middle grade. No, I've always loved middle grade. If you've been watching my channel since I started BookTube, you know that I love the fuck out of middle grade. And it's just that I took a little bit of a break from it, and now I'm back with it, and I love it, and that's just how it is. But yeah, really, a trend. I'm jumping on a trend. Fuck you. Yes. Okay. Audiobooks. How do you keep your writing from feeling stagnant? I often find that when I'm writing, I'm using the same way of formatting sentences and such. Just do what works for you. Like as I said earlier, um, I wouldn't try to change anything unless you feel like it's really hurting your writing. Then maybe, I don't know, but if it's not hurting you, then I wouldn't really worry about it. Um, yes, and then MC Frank asked. Okay, let me see. Oh, what would you love to write next, or in general, what is the favorite genre or story idea you'd love to work on sometime in the future but haven't yet? Okay, the one that I'm working on right now, I'm in love with. It's middle grade, and as I said, I'm just excited about it. What I would like to work on in the future is a cozy mystery. Um, I did start working on one, but I feel like it's not anywhere near ready, and I would love to just put some time to the side and work on that and sort of get it going. I don't see that coming out for like another year or two because I really feel like when you're writing a mystery, I think that's one of the most difficult things to write because you got to get things right, otherwise your book is just it's not gonna go well. But that's just me. I mean, it might be easier for other people. JBBYT asked, as a writer, do you look for an agent or do agents look for you upon your submission of your work? Um, you have to look for an agent. That's you have to submit your stuff to agents. The only time I think people will look for you is if you're self-published and your book's doing super well, then they want a part of that, then they will go for you. But other than that, they don't look for you. You gotta go after them. Ellie Elfie asks, Can you talk us through your planning process as briefly or in depth as you want? Yeah, I just talked about all that. I think below. Um, yeah, I outline, listen to music, and write. That's it. I'm not really that complicated of a writer. Turkin asks, how much time do you spend a week writing? I'd say 4 days out of 7 I will write. Because some days you just don't feel like writing, like I said. Um, Kidda Talks Books asks, what was the moment you knew you wanted to write, to be a writer? When I was 14. After I wrote my first book when I was 13, I wrote 150 pages of a middle grade book then, and it was called Dreama, and it was awesome. And I still have it in a composition book. And before that, I wanted to be a movie director. And even still, sometimes that's not something that has gone away from me. I would still love to do that. Um, but I knew then, after writing that first book, I was like, this is something that I would really like to do. Um, so I pursued it a little bit more. Then is Abigail D. How many people do you ask to read your work before you publish it? I only have one person. Because if I let more people read my work, then I will unintentionally let what they think like mess with me, and then my book will get it. Nah, it just won't work. Um, yes, so I only let one person do that. Lisa Hobie asks, when did you realize you wanted to become an author? More specifically, was there a single inspiration or many? When I wrote my first book, as I said, like that really like just that was like boom. I was like, this is something that I really would like to do. I'm a huge fan. Keep it up. Thank you. That's really awesome. Thank you. Abby Jane asks, what's the best writing moment you've ever had? The idea for this book that I'm writing right now, like once that came to me, I was so excited. I wrote a bunch of crap down, and I was just over the moon, so happy, and it's like it was one of the best things ever, and I love this book so much, and you guys will understand once I make the announcement video for it. I'm in love with it. Millie Lovekin asks, do you want to write ideas for story? Oh, do you wait to write ideas for stories down in the fear of becoming disinterested, or do you write ideas down as soon as possible? As soon as possible, because I am really crappy with my memory. I will forget, and things will just no. So I have to write everything down as soon as possible. Line Moles asks, what do you write about? Everything, really. I write in a lot of different genres. Then the next question is from The Secret Stacks. How has BookTube affected your writing, positively or negatively? Both. I would say positively because I made a lot more friends and I've learned a lot more about myself with writing, and I've gotten a lot more help and a lot more advice. Negatively, I would say that I put more pressure on myself sometimes to write something amazing because of, the, how do I explain this? I feel like people a lot of times want perfection in books, and it's not possible. Um, so a lot of times I will aspire to that, and it's not possible to aspire to that. So yeah, so I think that's probably one of the negative things, but both, more positive. Victoria Taylor asks, do you have a particular routine or process when you write? For example, do you find you are most creative in a certain environment? I don't do like coffee shops. I tried to do the library. It didn't really work for me because I ended up walking around looking for books. The coffee shop thing, I will not pay attention to what I'm writing. My mind just moves everywhere. So I have to be in my room at this desk writing. For me, I can write like other places. I can write, but I just choose to write here. Yes, Rose Petal Reader said, you answer everywhere because you are just so amazing. Thank you. I do answer everywhere. Like, you'd be surprised, and people are surprised whenever I respond back to them on Goodreads and on Twitter and everywhere else. They're like, wow, a lot of booktubers don't do that. And it's true, a lot of booktubers do not make themselves accessible. And you need to, because it's just something you gotta do. I mean, be a person. Yeah, that's something that really bugs me. I wish a lot more booktubers would make themselves really accessible. Yeah, so what was her question? What made you decide to write a book? Like, what made you go from wanting to write a book to seriously doing it? I really don't remember why I decided to write a book when I was 13. I have no idea what the inspiration was for that. I can't remember, which sucks, but um, taking it seriously was when I was 14 when me and my mom tried to get the book published. We tried to go the Vanity publishing route, which don't do it. Don't. It's when you pay people to publish your book, and we were very ignorant about that then, and it's not the way to go. Don't ever do that. Okay, people should be paying you. What self-publishing is different, but vanity publishing is you pay your money for people to do this shit for you. It's not, to me, that's just not right. Um, but when I was 14, I knew I wanted to take everything seriously, even though that's a really young age to think that. But I think more as I got older, it was something that I knew I wanted to make into a career. Um, Uninspired asked, uninspired, why? Why are you uninspired? Asked, what parts of yourself or your life do you put into your books? Like, is family important to you? You might write a character with lots of siblings or something like that. Family is really, really important to me because me and my family are very close. We are a Mexican family and we are really, really close. You fuck with one of us, you fuck with all of us. Um, but, but yes, parts of myself do go into my books. They do. I think that's with every writer. Parts of you do end up somehow seeping their way into your work. Um, yes, so that's it for YouTube. So let's go ahead and go to Twitter. And they are, okay, the questions on Twitter, let's answer those. From Jennifer, hey Jennifer, from Wonderland Books, ask, what made you decide to write under a pen name? I have lot problems with Goodreads. They hate me on there for some reason. I love Goodreads, but they always mix my books up with these two authors named Richard Denny. One writes these historical books, the other one writes these handbooks for driver's ed, and I always get mixed up with them. People think I'm like 43 years old and have bachelor's degrees and master's degrees and all this shit, and I'm just like, no, I don't have any of that. So it's really annoying to me, and they always put my books on these authors' pages, and it's just, to me, it's annoying. So I decided that I was going to use another pen name. I've only had the other pen name I've ever used was Clover Donovan, but this one is Roderick Ransom, and that's the one I'm going to start using. And I know it's pretty awkward and weird, but for my middle grade book, I think it's going to be awesome. I like it, and a lot of people said it was really interesting and memorable. But yeah, that's why I decided to use it, because I was just tired of my shit getting fucked with. It really was, and being confused with these other authors is not something that I am liking a lot. Then Tess Berger asked, what was going through your head when you published your first book? Were you scared, nervous, or confident? I love you, by the way. Oh, I love you too. Scared, nervous, confident, all of them. When I published my first book, it wasn't something that was in. Yeah, when I published my first book, it wasn't anything that was in. It was all vampires and like supernatural witch stuff, and I love witches. And I did then. I don't know why I didn't really want to write anything that was witchy. Then, but I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna write something that no one's writing. So I wrote a story about a girl, teenage girl, in a zombie apocalypse, who is still in love with her high school crush, who just so happens to be a zombie, and she's just, she's a little bit fucked up, and she carries him. She carries him everywhere. She takes him everywhere with her, and he's dead. He wants to eat her, and that's just that's what I played with romance, because I don't like romance, and I just had a lot of fun with it. I did not expect it to go the way it did. I had movie deal offers for it that ended up not working out, with independent like movie companies and stuff like that. But it was just amazing to me. It worked out so well, and I'm so happy about that. I was really scared though, but I thought that it was just gonna fail, and it didn't. And I don't know, it's just crazy to me. But yeah, so that is it, right? That is it. How long is this video? 39 minutes so far. It's better than 2 hours or something, or a 2-part video, because I'm just gonna upload the whole thing. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for asking all these questions. And if you do have more questions, you can ask me on Goodreads, Twitter, or here. and I will answer them. And yeah, and the next time I do a Q&A video, I'm going to try to make sure that my webcam is fixed so that I can do a live show and I don't have to worry about time. So yeah, so I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye. How do you turn this motherfucker off? Okay.